Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Apples and Ginos Fantasy Hockey Podcast. This is week 16 of Trade Talks. My name is Brian, and I'm joined by Evan and Ryan. And today we'll be rolling through the trade bait board. We'll provide some trade grades on some real trades, and we'll highlight some other players of interest in week 16 of your fantasy hockey season. Here we go.
All right, we made it to week 16. What's up?
Oh, fantastic.
Hello,
contract renewal is coming up soon.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're due for a big raise, big signing.
Yeah, big signing at 18 games played, I believe. So that's good for all of us. How are you guys feeling? How's your fantasy matchups?
They're close this week, but optimistic.
I'm surprisingly doing well in all of mine after coming off a disappointing week last week. So looking to build on it.
Okay. And before we get into newsies, Evan, we have some newsies in one of your leagues. You made a trade, I hear.
I did. I did points league similar to APL, but goalie scoring is weighed a little heavier. Karel Vejmelka and Shane Gostisbehere for Lane Hudson. Still pending formally to go through, but trying to shore up my defense heading into the playoffs. Currently the 1 seed there.
Yeah, Brian, how many booms does that get?
Yeah, that gets a big boom for me. I like it. I just can't trust Gostisbehere this year. I feel like he's been, every time I take a look at his status, he's game time decision or he's out. And Hudson, we know what he can do. And I know, Evan, you mentioned your goalies are pretty well set anyways. So I think you're making a big upgrade and you can afford to take a little loss there on the goalies. So I love it. A for me.
Yeah, we got some collusion in the chat here. Don't tase me, who's the commissioner of this league, saying getting vetoed, so no booms. Good to see he's watching.
Yeah. He also is asking Ryan and Brian, how's it going? You don't say that to Evan. It's just us. Eh? Well,
big fan of the show, minus myself.
We're doing good. We're doing good. Thanks for being here. Don't tase me. Let's get into some comments right off the bat here. Wyatt Boone 5270. Hello. There is a standard Yahoo Fantasy League head-to-head points trading Tage Thompson and Matthew Tkachuk and getting Mitch Marner and Mark Scheifele. He also has Kyle Connor. Interesting. I think that trade is like pretty even in my eyes. I do like Mitch Marner. But Tage is really taking another step. I don't know if I would do this trade. I think it's pretty even. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I would lean on the side of Tage. He's just been so good. I know Matthew Tkachuk didn't get any points in his first game back, but I think brighter days ahead of Matthew Tkachuk. I think I'd lean there.
Yeah, same. I like Tage way too much. Scheifele, I do like as well. Mitch is heating up, but I think Matthew Tkachuk's just getting started. He's going to start putting up some points here soon.
Yeah, I think it's like you can't go wrong on either side. If you have Matt Tkachuk, you've been waiting this whole time and now he's back and now you're going to trade him. But maybe you're worried that he'll, sit out some games or get injured again. So I think it's a good trade overall for both sides, but I don't know if I'm doing it. Liam Murphy. I made a trade for Connor McDavid in a Bangers Cats League with plus minus for Eichel, Matt Tkachuk. Hello, Matt Tkachuk again. And Jackson Lacombe. Did I overpay? I don't think so. If you're gonna get McDavid or McKinnon or Makar in any league, you're gonna have to give up a lot. And I think I would do that. Eichel, Matt Tkachuk, Lacombe. I think that's good value for McDavid. Brian, do you agree?
My knee-jerk reaction was to say, oh no, this is an overpay. But honestly, I think I would do this. Matt Tkachuk, we expect him to be better. He's only played one game. He will, but I don't know to what level. And Lacombe and Anaheim, I know they're kind of cooling off from their torrid start at the beginning of the season. So, I think I'd actually make this trade. I don't think it's an overpay.
Yeah,
Evan, what do you think?
Agree. I think anything for Connor McDavid is not an overpay pretty much, unless it involves McKinnon, Makar, Kucherov, and one of these guys. So, yeah, I think you win that one.
Nice. All right, one more before some newsies. Florida man, Penguin fan. Hey guys, I'm in a 12-man points league, head-to-head standard ESPN scoring. Thoughts on Logan Thompson for Ricard Raquel? I also have Sorokin and Vasilevsky. Thanks again, big fan of the show. Yeah, thanks for the question. Interesting. So you have some stacked goalies: Thompson, Sorokin, and Vasi. Like, yeah, that's wild. I'm not. I don't know the goalie scoring on ESPN standard scoring off the top of my head, but I think that might be overkill. So, yeah, like you're getting Ricard Raquel here. It seems like you're getting fleeced, but if you have these goalies and you can get a good skater for one of them, I think I would do it without knowing exact goalie scoring. Do you guys know the ESPN scoring?
Not off the top of my head.
Not the base, but I feel like Ricard Raquel does well there because I have Russ there and he's very similar and he does really well. He's like one of the higher ranked skaters. So this could be like better than like initially thought, like on paper. But I agree. Like initial knee jerk is like you could probably get more for Logan Thompson because he's done quite well. But I mean, Sorokin and Vazzy are obviously better, so you're still getting a pretty solid line one power play one winger.
Yeah, with Crosby, that's not bad. Get rid of a goalie. Yeah. I will stand firm on that. If you can get someone else aside from Ricard Raquel, even better. But yeah, get rid of goalie. You already have stacked goalies there.
Yeah, and I do think like this is a fine trade, but maybe one of those 12 people in your leagues are a big hero G person and they would pay a little more. So I don't know. See what you can get, shop around, but I think it's a good trade. All right, let's get into some newsies here. Evan, you want to take us away?
Yes, Matthew Tkachuk is back. He initially skated on line 3, but got PP1 in the first game back. But it looks like updated lines from practice today showed him back with the second line, Bennett and Verhaeghe, which is really good. I think he's going to do great. I think he's going to continue to kind of kill it like we know he will moving forward. A lot of people worried about like potential re-injury and stuff, but I think it's Matthew Tkachuk and you roll with it for now. Marchand's still out, but when he gets back, I'm curious how it's going to affect the power play. I think this honestly will hurt Verhaeghe overall with Matthew Tkachuk and Marchand back. I think that Marchand has proven he is much more valuable on that top power play.
Verhaeghe's used to it.
Yeah,
he is used to it. Val Nichushkin is back after a 1-game absence. He apparently got into a car accident. I was like in several spots looking to rush out to grab Victor Olofsson because Nichushkin was out, but it seems to be short-lived and he should be back tonight, or he's expected to be. Although I will say Olofsson's projected to be on the top power play based on the lines this morning. Interesting stuff. Luke Hughes, to my dismay, one of my trade targets multiple times, is, I would say, severely injured. Like it's not going to be like a day-to-day or even like short-term week-to-week thing. It seems like it's going to be after the Olympic break is when they're expecting him potentially back. On the most recent updated news, they said he's not considering surgery right now, just rehab for his injury, but still unfortunate stuff. Dougie gets a boost here to PP1. Nemec was PP2. It's going to be interesting moving forward because I still think they do trade Dougie. And then that means Nemec will get the PP1. So I think long-term, like for the Devils, like over the next several weeks and after the trade deadline, he'll get the bump. But Dougie will when he gets traded somewhere, hopefully. And Kiefer Sherwood to San Jose. This is a really interesting one because a lot of people have him, obviously, especially Bangers Cats, but you kind of wonder like where he's going to slot into the lineup. Like, are they going to put him with Celebrini and Will Smith as like the enforcer and just have him like banging pucks like from I think this only helps his value significantly. Like if he was anywhere on waivers, which he won't be, but I would be like scooping him up, hoping that he could get that lineup deployment. What do you guys think about Key for the Beefer?
I don't know. I honestly don't know where he's going to fit in San Jose's lineup. I can see him just replacing Reeves. But with some more offensive upside, it'll be, if he does slot somewhere in the top 6, I think that's a boost because San Jose's offense is better than the mess of Vancouver. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he fits.
Yeah, I think his ceiling goes way up, and if he doesn't slot in with Celebrini and Smith, or just Celebrini in general, like I think his value stays the same. Like he was a middle six forward. He was getting a little more ice time this year, and like power play 2 time, but that's what he is. He's a banger. He's gonna get you 4 to 5 hits a game, and he might get like a 20 goal 35-point pace. If he's up with Celebrini, all of his offensive ceilings are way higher than that. So really cool.
I think overall, like the trade for San Jose, just from a team's perspective, is really good. Like I think that's a great move. You need somebody like that, and Ryan Reeves is too old. No offense to Revo.
Yeah. In some other newsies, less injury related, just taking a look at some lines in Carolina. Seth Jarvis is up with Aho and Svechnikov. And unfortunately for Nikolai Ehlers, that means he was on line 3 with Martinook and Stahl. And I think that is bad news for Ehlers. I think Jarvis can still produce on that shutdown line, strong 2-way line. But Ehlers, I don't know. What do you guys think?
It hurts him on line 3. He needs the tops. He needs the top 6. He needs some more talent around him.
Guys, let's calm down. I'm an Ehlers owner here. It's interesting. He got that hat trick game and the assist on that third line with Stahl. I think it's interesting though, because like the Carolina commentator, I can't remember his name, but like he basically was saying this even before it happened, that he wanted to see Ehlers with Stahl. Something about their chemistry and the way that Ehlers drives the line. Martinook's kind of like a decent little player. I think there was almost too much pressure with Ehlers on that top line. Like every time I feel like I was watching the games and he would like they wouldn't make a play or they would dump it in. Ehlers would be like putting his head up like, oh my God, or like gripping his stick too much. I think this takes the pressure off of him a little bit. As long as he's PP1, I still think he's going to get good value. But overall, yeah, like you want him to play with, Svech and Aho or Jarvis and Aho. But we also have to remember, even though Svech is playing well now, it's been well documented how he has injury history and been in the doghouse with Rob. So they might still shuffle the lines moving forward.
Yeah. And on the power play, they're both still on power play 1, and actually Nikishin is on that top power play at the moment, while Gostisbehere is out, and he may remain out for a while. So Nikishin has a good opportunity here. And then Michael Misa on San Jose, he got a look with Celebrini and Smith at even strength, I believe, just like in the third period of the last game. So that's just something to keep an eye on. He might be a worthy stream if that role remains there for the next week, or take a look at those practice lines that are coming up. And then Kirby Dach on Montreal, he returns to action. He was right on the top line with Caulfield and Suzuki, but he was on the second power play unit. But he could have some value. He's always been an efficient player, so not a guy I love to stream. I'd rather get the guy who's just chucking it at the net and hope for it to go in, rather than someone who might shoot 20%. But with the elite line mates, are you guys taking a look at Kirby Dach?
It's not a bad place to be. I'd give him a look.
Look at what Texier was doing up there and got a contract out of it. Like, yeah, I mean, Kirby Dach, Kirby Dach, even when he was on the second line, was still kind of doing a little bit here and there. So I feel like, yeah, it's always a good place to be with Suzuki and Caulfield.
Yeah. And the New York power play is cruising. They're quietly the third best power play in the past month. This is something we talked about quite a bit. They were pretty down there in the dumps with their power play at the start of the season, and we were expecting things to turn around, and they have turned around in the past month. We'll see what happens with trades and if that remains, but definitely JT Miller, Trocheck, Panarin, all benefiting, even Gavrikov really benefiting recently. And we had Darcy Kemper. He left Tuesday's game early. Haven't heard any updates on that, but keep an eye. Anton Forsberg might be a worthy 0G stream. And Anthony Cirelli also left Tuesday's game early. Keep an eye on those practice lines as well. All right. That's it with the newsies. We are doing a new little segment because the NHL trade deadline is coming up within a month and a bit, and all these outlets are dropping these trade bait boards, and here's the top 25 players who are going to get traded. So we're going to go through some of them. We don't know like how likely all these guys are to get traded. We're not, as much as I want to be, we're not the insiders. We don't know what the GMs are thinking, but we're going to give our takes on where we think their fantasy values will end up in some different scenarios. So first up on our trade bait board, we have Artemi Panarin. So Artemi Panarin, he has 56 points in 50 games played. He's on a 92-point pace, very similar to his numbers of last year. 17 power play points in 50 games. So, things are going well. I think if you drafted Artemi Panarin, he let you down a little bit at the start of the season, but he's really picked it up lately. And there's a few different scenarios that could happen. Brian, any team you want Panarin to end up on for fantasy value, let's say?
I mean, okay. Well, those are two different things, because where do I want these great players to end up is Toronto, but that'll never happen. At least aren't going to do anything. I think like Panarin could obviously get a boost if he ends up somewhere in like Minnesota, Colorado. But I don't know how realistic that is. I did see something through a quick little search, try to find out where a likely destination could be. And I did see something pop up about Carolina. And that could be kind of interesting to see him in Carolina. I don't know if that would really help his. Yeah, I don't know if it'll help his fantasy outlook, but there's some interesting destinations, and I'm sure everyone would be really interested in Panarin. Evan, I see you give me the thumbs down. Elaborate, please.
If he goes to Carolina, I'm gonna have a bad time. I have Panarin in every single fantasy league that I'm a manager of. I'll tell you what, boys. There have been rumors of a certain team checking in on him, and you may remember certain teammates that he played with in the past where he had great chemistry, and that's the winged wheel, boys. Let's get him over to Detroit playing with Dylan Larkin. Let's get him on that top power play. I think that'd be phenomenal. I might buy a jersey if that's the case. Honestly, yeah, if he goes, I still think Panarin is Panarin. Like wherever he goes, he's still going to be very good. I think there are certain scenarios in which he'd be very good. Obviously, if he goes to Colorado and gets top line, top power play with McKinnon, that'd be nuts. If he goes to Detroit, I think it helps. If he goes to Minnesota, it helps. Carolina would be probably the worst place for him. Honestly, I don't know that the Leafs have the cap or the wherewithal, but if they could somehow make that work, I'd be happy with that too.
The Leafs cupboards are bare. They got to go grocery shopping. They have no food. They got nothing in there. I actually also saw there was some speculation. I forget who it was, but there was a trade rumor or on trade rumors being posted that the Dallas Stars might not look to re-sign Robertson. So if that's the case, I wonder if they would try to see if they could pick up Panarin as a result. I don't know. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I think Carolina is one of the worst places he could go for his fantasy value. Yeah. He might play with Jordan Stahl and Martin. Who knows?
Third line.
Shorthanded, Panarin.
Yeah. I think the only other team that's like been in like the buyers conversation that I think Panarin his value would hurt from, I think, are the Islanders. Much as like, Schaefer's great, Barzal's great, Bo Horvat's been good. Like, I just think that compared to Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas, Toronto, Detroit, like I think is a place where either his value will stay exactly the same or it'll dip a bit.
God, on the island, I might actually like become ill if I receive bad news. So, boys might want to check in on me around the deadline time.
All right. So if let's say he gets traded to either Detroit or Colorado or Tampa or Dallas or Minnesota, what do you think his fantasy value is? Maybe we can cook up a player that we'd trade away and try to get Artemi Panarin for. I think that his value would be right up at the in the top 20, at the end of the second round, pretty much close to where he was drafted. But I would maybe give up like Tage Thompson, who's really hot right now. Go for Panarin, and if Panarin ends up on one of those super teams, I think he'll get like 100, 110 point pace the rest of the way, and that'll smash Tage Thompson's numbers. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I think there's a lot of guys kind of in that area, right, that you would consider trading away. Like I would trade Jake Gensel. Like I don't know if they would even do that straight up now, but something in that category. Like you said, if Panarin is going to get with elite facilitators and out of like the doldrums and the negativity of New York, then look what Quinn Hughes going to Minnesota already did for like the vast majority of that team. Like if you get an elite level playmaker and facilitator like that on the power play and even strength, like it's going to boost not only his value but everyone on the team. So yeah, I would definitely do that.
Would you trade away Jack Hughes to get Panarin?
Yes,
I would.
Yeah. If he goes to one of those teams, like if you have Jack Hughes, I'd be looking to trade Jack Hughes. I know some people. We've also talked about a lot, like Jack Hughes. We made the suggestion to hold on to Jack Hughes, but because he's going to get better, like he's just got that dog in him, but he could slip and cut his hand and be out for a while again. Like I think Panarin's like a safer bet, and I think the ceiling for his points this year is higher than Jack Hughes this year.
Yeah, Panarin has a chance to get out of the bad situation that he's in, and he's still producing despite the bad situation, whereas Jack Hughes, like the Devils overall, are just in this huge slump, and I'm sure his brother getting injured is not going to help his case. So, yeah, Jack Hughes, it's kind of weird with the Devils. They were all buy lows for a while. I'm very much kind of soured on the Devils for now. I'm not really trying to buy any stock. I haven't seen enough of a turn in the metrics or the underlyings or even the eye test when I watch them play that makes me think they're just going to all of a sudden pop off rest of season. Yeah.
I do think like it will happen. It just might not happen until it's too late.
The last 15 games.
Yeah. All right. Next up on our trade bait board, we got Nazem Kadri. Kadri here on the season is he has 34 points in 49 games. Not great for a 57 point pace. That's would be his lowest since his first year in Calgary. But yeah, like I think teams are looking for a second line center. Teams like Minnesota, maybe he rejoins Colorado, maybe he rejoins Toronto. I think that anywhere he goes, even Carolina to be with Rob Brind'Amour, if that happens, I think anywhere he goes, he boosts his fantasy value. He's shooting a 6.5% right now. I think anywhere he goes, his efficiency will go up with some better players and just a better team environment. So I don't think there's a bad team to go to. Am I wrong?
No, anywhere's better than Calgary.
Calgary is second last, third last maybe in goals for this year. And I know Kadri finally scored a goal. I think it was the first time in a month, which is crazy. But I think if he goes anywhere, he has a chance of being on he has a chance of being on the top power play. I think pretty much almost everywhere he goes. And when he goes there, their power play is going to be better than what it is in Calgary as well. So, yeah, I think you can't go wrong with Kadri.
What does anyone know off the top of their head? What is Jonathan Huberdeau getting paid at the moment? Is it like 10 mil a year or something like that?
Too much?
Like 10 and a half. Like, man,
yeah, 10 and a half.
That talk about like, I don't even know that the even strength line has him playing with Huberdeau most of the time. Like, I think he was with Coronado or Zari or something now, but like, yeah, I mean, he needs like a winger to play with to be able. He can't just go out and like take on 2-3 players all on himself. So yeah, anywhere he goes is going to boost his trade value. I think you nailed it, Ryan. If he goes to Minnesota, whatever center that's on the trade block that is going to get that coveted like role with Kaprizov and Zuccarello is, I think, going to have a massive rest of season once that happens.
That's another thing is that if he goes to Minnesota, like while Joel Eriksson Ek is out, he would be their first line center, right? He would be playing with Kaprizov and Zuccarello. That's bound to get him points. And I'm looking at the lineup right now. I think he's with Zari and Gryden right now.
Yeah.
like that's a tough spot to be in.
High level.
Yeah, for sure. someone I didn't bring up on the trade bait board, but now it has me thinking a little bit more. If the Rangers sell on Vinny Trocheck, I think Minnesota needs a center, and so any of these centers here, I think Minnesota is going to be talking about. I think Vinny Tro to Minnesota would be a huge boost as well, because Vinny Tro would slot into that top line role, top power play as well. So I think Minnesota is a prime spot for any fantasy hockey center that gets traded.
I think with Vinny Tro, though, who's a friend of the show, he would get a boost if he went to Minnesota, but I think he would actually hurt his value if he went to a lot of other places. I just think, because he right now playing with Panarin is really nice, but if he goes anywhere else, he probably won't have an elite winger playing with him to carry the offense. Whereas if he goes to Minnesota, you got Kaprizov, great, or Boldy. Take your pick. Like that, either or is great. But I think most other options, his value will actually decrease.
And he might lose a power play one role as well, because he's a good two-way forward. He's one of the best face-off guys in the league. He might be put in a checking role, put on the penalty kill, and put on power play two on a lot of teams.
Do you know what I want to see
on the back burner? Yeah,
what I really want to see is Utah do something and get a center, because I don't think I've ever seen them win a offensive zone face-off while they're on the power play. So I think their power play is too good to be this bad, and I think if they win a couple of draws and start in the O-zone, they'll have some more luck converting on that power play. So if they were wise, I could pick up the phone and call their GM and let them know, like, hey, you got to trade for a center here.
I guess you weren't watching the games when Kevin Stenlund was on the top power play, and he would win the faceoff, and then he would run to the bench and Gempner would hop on.
Kind of like what they in Carolina, they're having Jordan Staal kind of do too. But yeah, they had Kevin Stenlund out there at the end of a game for like over 2 minutes, because he's the only one in the defensive zone that could win a draw to try and dump the puck down. Like, it's just crazy stuff. They had Nick Schmaltz playing. He's not a center. Like, I like that take, Brian. I think Utah could be really good to go get a center. I don't know that they'd want. I mean, Kadri. Kind of on the older side. I mean, they're obviously like a young team looking to build, but you're right. It could help them still now the next few years. But they for sure need a center.
Yeah. All right. Next up, another old guy here. We got Steven Stamkos, the legend. I think, right now he's cooking, and he had a terrible start of the season, but he's really picked things up, and he now has 21 goals and 33 points in 49 games. He's really just scoring goals now in his old age. He's just firing the puck. He's not really facilitating anymore, and he's on a 55-point pace. So, I'm not too excited for Steven Stamkos to get traded. Even if he goes to an elite team, I think he'll be, forgotten, move down the lineup a bit, power play two on a lot of teams. He's not going to really be that top guy. I just don't think he has that in his game on a great team anymore. Evan, do you agree or disagree there?
No, I agree mostly. He's shown flashes of it in Nashville this year, as well as like Nashville as a team. But I think for the most part, the vast majority of teams, he's not going to do too much. Now, I don't think this happens, but my one buddy brought it up, who's a huge Tampa homer. Can you imagine the return if that happened? Bumping freaking Oliver Bjorkstrand off that power play where he has no business being, and then being back on like a top two line, like that would be nuts. And I'd be all over that. However, anywhere else, no. So
yeah.
Bridges have been burned there, I think, but
so I can see him going to somewhere and playing on that top power play, but then ending up on like line 3, or something like that. So his minutes suck, but he's on a top power play that would get a boost from his shot. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I just think even if he goes somewhere great, maybe Tampa is the exception here, but I don't think it's happening. You're gonna have really long stretches of him doing nothing, and then probably a week where he gets 4 goals, and that's just someone I don't want to trade for or count on at this point.
If I had him anywhere, I would have sold him after that hat trick game a little while back.
Yeah. All right, next up, our boy. Dougie. Well, not our boy, but is your boy Dougie? That's it.
He's our boy who we like absolutely poo-pooed on the entire offseason. Now we love him. Yeah,
He's great.
Yeah. Now that Luke Hughes is out. So yeah, he's been in trade talks for quite a while now. And I think they'll work on something this season very soon. He's on a 29-point pace. He's been on and off the top power play. He's been scratched. He is kind of on fire lately. He has 6 assists in 5 games since being scratched, and he is on the current top power play in New Jersey. I think they are showcasing what he can do offensively there to try to get the most value for Dougie Hamilton. This is a player who I think still has a ton of offensive talent and ton of potential to be like a 50 to 60 point guy on if he gets a top power play role. So anywhere he goes, I think he needs a top power play role to really get my attention. So like for me, I don't think he's going to unseat, Darren Radish if he goes to Tampa. I think Radish has that solidified. I don't even think Hedwin's going to take it back. He's not getting the top power play on Colorado. I don't think he'll even get the top power play on the Islanders, although they do more of like a split power play role. Do you guys see anywhere where he's, a surefire bet for the top power play?
The Leafs, if they get rid of Riley, but I don't know if they can do that, but I could see Riley and Hamilton switching, and then he'd take over power play 1. And I think off the top of my head, I don't know if Philly is in the market to do anything, but I think he'd be definitely an upgrade on their back line on top power play there.
Yeah, Philly's defense is a mess between Cam York, Sanheim, and Drysdale, who they've all rotated on their top power play. I think if Ryan kind of said it, if Dougie gets a top power play role anywhere, it's going to be good, I think, for the most part, unless it's a completely, non-offensive team. But even then, like, he's firing pucks from the back end. Like, they're getting tipped. They're getting hit off the backboards, tapped in. He's just that guy. I know he, kind of vetoed the trade to San Jose, I think, in the offseason, they said. But that would be my number one. If he could get, he's an upgrade over Klingberg. I think we can all agree. And if he's just firing pucks with Celebrini there, that would be nasty. That would be amazing.
Yeah. And I should note, like, he still has 2 years left on this $9 million contract after this season. So maybe we do see one of those trades where it's a rebuilding team. And maybe he says yes to San Jose now that he's seen Celebrini play.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
These guys are good. Yeah.
Especially with what's happened with the Devils, right? Like I'm assuming he wants to get out of there now. Although it's funny. It's not funny. The reverse, Luke, he hit us with the reverse here, the Uno reverse card. It was going to be Dougie gets hurt, Luke takes over top power play. Now it's Luke gets hurt, now Dougie takes over top power play. So that made sense.
Yeah, make it make sense.
They got you.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if you've done the eye test for any of the GMs there in the league, but if you're watching Dougie Hamilton, though, like recency bias, he's been playing well, but I swear most of the season I'm watching this guy play and I'm thinking to myself, are there bricks on his skates right now? Like, he moves so slowly, but then you look at what he's doing for fantasy. It's like, oh, he already has 4 shots. Like, when did that happen? He's very valuable when it comes to fantasy. And I think he gets moved anywhere, it's going to be an upgrade for him.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Next up, I don't know how much this guy's gonna how much the odds are of him getting traded. Alex Tuck is on the trade bait board. He's been showing up a lot because he's a UFA at the end of this season, and he hasn't re-signed yet with Buffalo. I think they're talking, but I think if the deadline comes around and they can't get something done, and I'm Buffalo's GM, I'm going to want to get something out of Alex Tuck's value. I don't want to let him walk for nothing, especially since I don't think Buffalo's a cup contender right now. So Alex Tuck, he's only at 4.75 mil. His next contract will probably, double that. He's been crushing it. And I think he is what he is at the moment. Like, he could get on power play 1 on a better team, but I think it's just as likely that he might be in a similar role on power play 2, penalty killer, a great 2-way forward, and getting a 70-point pace as he is right now.
Yeah, I think there's one team that jumps into my mind as where his value would skyrocket, and that's the Edmonton Oilers. If he plays with one of either McDavid or Draisaitl, like he's still going to be PP2 likely behind Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, but his even strength line is going to be massively better. And I think it really helps the Oilers because he is a two-way forward. I'll throw it to you, Brian, but I'm interested. I don't think they can get it done, but I mean, as a Leafs fan, you'd probably love him, right?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I like anyone. I love some talent. No, but I actually really like that take. And one other thing is with Alex Tuch, even when he goes to power play one, when he gets that chance, most of his he's not that efficient, I should say, on the top power play. He gets a lot of his points, even strength, and I think it comes from the two-way play that he has. So I think if he goes to Edmonton, his production will go up, and I don't think not being on the top power play is going to hurt his value at all. Playing with a better line in Draisaitl or McDavid, even strength, that's great. And then he can catch his breath while they're on the power play and just get ready to play a two-way hockey when he gets back on the ice at 5-on-5. So I actually really like that take. Edmonton, get it done.
Yeah, I think, I'm like, that's a perfect fit. But like in my mind, it's a perfect fit for our fantasy teams.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're here for. GM's got to listen up, take notes.
Speaking of like elite, even strength players, like if he goes to Tampa, maybe him and Hagel on a line would be like nuts.
Sorelli and Hagel would be nuts.
Hagel already gets 200 even strength points a season. So just keep Alex Tuch there with him. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Elias Pettersson. Again, I don't know how likely it is for him to be traded. His trade value is so low right now, and I don't know if that's who he is on Vancouver, but Vancouver is the worst team in the league. So what do you guys think? Elias Pettersson, what do you think would be a good spot for him?
Anywhere but Vancouver. I don't know. That's tough because like I'm pretty disappointed with Elias Pettersson. So I'm trying to think. I don't want him, but like he at his peak, he's a good two-way center, and he has offensive talent. So I think you get out of Vancouver, anywhere would be a nice bump, except for Calgary, maybe. So not there. But San Jose probably wouldn't want him. Maybe Anaheim. I don't know. I'm just trying to go through each of the divisions now in my head.
Yeah. Sorry. I should say like he still has 6 years left on an $11.6 million contract. So it might be one of these lower tier teams. Maybe it's a Chicago. Maybe it's a San Jose. Maybe a Philly.
Actually,
I know. I don't think he's going to one of these top teams. Brian, you know where he's going?
Yeah, Utah. Go to Utah, win a face-off, help the power play out. Why not? Like if they could fit it in.
I really don't dislike that at all. If he fits in between Schmaltz and Keller, and then they can get Logan Cooley back and then have Gunther again and Peterka, I kind of like that. Vancouver's going to have to eat some of this contract because they really screwed up here. I think the days of Pettersson being like 100-point plus player consistently is well behind him. I don't think it was a flash in the pan. I think he has talent. It's one of these weird things though, like outside of Utah, I don't really see his value going up because he's the best player on a bad team. And sometimes that kind of works for fantasy. He's still like doing serviceable stuff for fantasy, especially in category leagues. But like, I mean, nothing for what we drafted or expected him for, but like he's been linked in names to Carolina. Like if he went to Carolina, like, I don't know that he even gets top power play. Like, so, and who's he going to play with on the second line? Like Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake. Like, I don't know. I just, and his minutes are going to go down by like 5 or 6 per game. So yeah, I think outside of a few select spots, Elias Pettersson's value, I think actually goes down, even though Vancouver is a dumpster fire.
I think we can all agree that any player going to Carolina, their value is going down.
Unless Rob Brindamore puts an assigned like a letter like that we can all see for the fantasy hockey community that says, I, Rob Brindamore, promise to play this player 18 minutes a night and on the top power play every night on the same line. And there's no way he'll do that.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think, like, are there any players whose fantasy value would increase on Carolina? And it's only like fourth line players or players being scratched that I do think would actually improve. Like, honestly, maybe maybe Nick Robertson. Maybe if he goes to Carolina and Brendan Moore likes him, maybe he is on one of the three lines that gets played evenly as like a top nine.
They really don't, like you said, they don't have like a second through fourth line. They have a first line, and then they have three other lines that they run like a minute less, so.
Yeah. Just checking in on Utah's cap space. They currently have 12.7 in cap space. So, Brian broke the news. You're going to see it maybe tomorrow. Pedersen fits right into Utah.
That's nuts. Congrats, Brian. Insider.
Thank you. I got to take this call. I got another GM calling me, guys.
Yeah. All right. Bringing up another possibly elite center where if he is available, I think it's going to be a blockbuster. We got Matchbox Rob Thomas. I'm not singing the song.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. But this is a guy with elite talent. Nothing's going right in St. Louis at the moment. Last year, he actually absolutely popped off for a 95-point pace. He's only on a 64-point pace right now. But yes, Robert Thomas, I think, could be a top center on any team. I think any change of scenery for him would be great for him and his fantasy value.
Yeah.
Do you guys think even if he goes to Carolina, actually, I think it's better than where he is right now.
Yeah, get out of St. Louis. But I'm just thinking like where his value could be good, even if he would be first line center in most cases. But I'm looking at what about Washington? That could help him maybe. Going to Washington. We haven't talked about them yet. That could definitely help him there. There's definitely some options, just not Calgary and not Vancouver.
Utah.
Yeah, and he's only
he gets with Keller, and we say it's like the same teams that need a center, right? Or Minnesota, like staying in that division. I don't think they would do that for the Central, but it'd be nuts because he is truly elite. He's truly being bogged down by the team and the players around him, unfortunately. Because I do think if he's on the right team and gets the minutes, he probably could get to the 90 points that Fantrax had him projected for. So, it's crazy.
98.
Yeah.
98.
What about the Buffalo Sabres? Like you got Norris who's always hurt.
Yeah.
That could be a really nice spot for him. Rob Thomas to Buffalo.
Yeah, I think
they set him on that top power play too, because Tage isn't great at draws either.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best place for his fantasy value. It's not the best fit in my mind for my fantasy team, just because I think Buffalo is running like similarly similar line distribution to St. Louis, where they have like a good top nine and they don't really trot out their top line like a McKinnon or anything like that. And they've also been running kind of split power plays as well. So that's not what I want. That's not what I want for Rob Thomas. The reason I was hating on all these St. Louis guys in the offseason, including Rob Thomas, was because of the split power play that they were running in St. Louis and not the 20 plus minutes a night. So I want him to get that. And I think he could on Minnesota. I think he could on even I can't say Toronto because I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it won't.
But he's only 8.1 mil cap hit.
Move Tavares, which he would never do.
Yeah.
No, Tavares just signed the best deal in like Leafs history, so I can't really move off him.
Yeah. And they got him the pajamas to boot. I think Rob Thomas on Buffalo, I think it'd be better than what you think, Ryan. Although to your point, Lindy Ruff would probably play him on line 3 PP2 like he does Alex Tuck. So
yeah, maybe. All right. Next up, we got another blue, and that's Jordan Kyrou, and he'd look super happy getting traded out of St. Louis because of his treatment there. Not treatment, just deployment. He's been getting no minutes, and that makes his per 60 numbers in a lot of areas really, really nice, but he's not getting the minutes there in St. Louis. So I think a trade for him is more likely and pretty imminent. And I think anywhere he goes will be better than his current situation in St. Louis. He has how many? He's got already 3 70-point seasons and a 67-point season. I think he is that player, that 70 to 75-point player as a top line forward, which I think he could be. He just needs his coach to know that he is only there to play offense and he's not great defensively. If the coach can accept that, I think he could be a 70 to 80-point player. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Give him to me on Detroit. We'll take him. At like Detroit, Edmonton, again, like if Toronto could make it work, any place that could use a scoring winger in their top 6, like Jordan Kyrou would fit right in. I don't even think, again, he needs top power play. He just needs someone that can let him actually play hockey. Like, I mean, it is criminal what's happened to him because he's consistently been a 30 to 35 plus goal, like 65, 70-point guy, and he's just getting diminished. So yeah, anywhere else, honestly, would be better.
Yeah. All right. We made it through our list. So we had Kyrou, Thomas, Pedersen, Tuck, Hamilton, Stamkos, Kadri, Panarin. Out of all those guys, I'll give you guys a minute to think, but which of these, we had 8 guys, which of these 8 guys do you think has the most potential to have the largest increase in their fantasy value? I'll go first here. I honestly think it's Nazem Kadri. Yeah. I think right now his fantasy value is so low, and any teams that drafted him, they're really disappointed in his value. And I think he's been dropped in a lot of spots. And as soon as he's traded to like a decent team, I think things will definitely turn around for him, and we could be looking at a 75-point pace the rest of the way, which I think is a big jump. So that's my guy. What about you, Evan?
Yeah, I think he'd be my number 2. I think my number 1 has to be Dougie. I think, it's kind of weird because now that he's got the top power play in New Jersey, you could argue, well, rest of season, maybe he would do fine. But like, assuming that wasn't going to happen and he was just going to get traded, he was on a 29-point pace. Like, that's horrific for Dougie. So I think if he goes anywhere where he gets top power play, he is going to get the most massive jump, even if it's on like a kind of lower end team like San Jose, but their offense is still good. So I'd say Dougie number 1, Kadri number 2 for me.
Yeah. See, right. In my mind, I was like, number 1 easily is Nazem Kadri for me. Number 2 easily is Dougie Hamilton. So now I got to think of someone just to be different. And I'll go with Jordan Kyrou just because he's, I don't know, coach hates him in St. Louis, and we already know how talented he is. So if he goes to a team where he gets a lot more offensive opportunity, we know the talent is there. I think he will do very well outside of St. Louis. So that would be my pick.
Nice. All right. Before we get in our trade grades, there's been quite a few comments here that let's try to do some rapid fire comments. So, Callie VDB, would you trade Gensel and Dorofeyev for Johnston and Nelson, 12-team Banger Cats without faceoffs? He's interested in Johnston. Interesting. I think Dorofeyev and Nelson have similar values the rest of the season in my eyes. So do Gensel and Johnston. If you're really interested in Johnston, I would do this. Evan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would. I think if it's positional, like, winger versus center, and you need a center, like Brock Nelson is, I think a lot of people felt what he was doing in the past, like, let's say like 15 games is a bit hot, which it is hot. Like he had like 13 goals in like 10 games or something. But I do think like, point pace and goals rest of season is a better outlook for him. He's stapled to that top power play. So yeah, I like the trade. I do really like Wyatt Johnston too, but if you're going for the player in Wyatt Johnston, I think it's an even enough trade where you can definitely do it.
Yeah. I see the trade pretty fair on both sides, and my suggestion would be flip a coin and then take a look at who has the better playoff, or who has the most games rest of season. Would be my suggestion.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Matthew Drake traded Draisaitl for Brady Tkachuk and Rasmus Dahlin a few weeks ago. It's a Cats league, including plus minus shots, hits, blocks. He's back in first since the trade. Nice job. It looks like a pretty Bangers Cats league. There are power play points. Interesting. I think it's a good trade. Again, Dahlin, in my eyes, he's the 6th or 7th best defenseman the rest of the way. But Evan will disagree here.
After that whole debacle, I literally had to go and make a trade for Lane Hudson because he talked to me about. So I think it's a good trade. I don't think it's a great trade. Like, again, this is just a scenario where you're giving up the best player in Draisaitl, but you're getting the value back. Like Brady Tkachuk and Dahlin are like still like end of first round, early second round picks for like, you know, like a top 6-7 pick. So, and especially in the Cats league, I could definitely live with this.
Yeah, I'd make this trade, especially in the Cats league. You get Brady Tkachuk shoots the puck like crazy. He hits. Dahlin, we talked about his priffs are down, but since we put him on,
can we go over that real quick?
He's been really good actually. He did take offense to this, so yeah, I like it.
Just very briefly, because I know Ryan's been paying heavy attention to this. Since our discussion, he's had 3 goals and 3 assists in 5 games. And over that time period, he has put up a monster 12 hits in 5 games, Ryan. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think he listened to the show and he's like, oh, I'm not hitting? Oh, my bad.
Oh.
Okay. All right, I'll start hitting again. Yeah, good for him. I think it's been a funny week of defensemen because we were talking about him, Lane Hudson, Sanderson, and Yossi, even Chikrin. Yeah. All of them are just going crazy. Like,
love it.
Yeah. All right, Nightbane, ahoy gang. If I place my team in here, would you all be open to looking to see what gaps I might have, where to improve on? Yeah, that would be good. That would be a good comment to see. Breadman, 0G help. He has Kemper and Jari. He needs volume. Dackord is a free agent. Any lower owned goalies for good volume? APL points. I don't know. Like if Dackord is on the wire, I think there's plenty of other goalies on the wire as well, and you don't really need to worry too much. I would just take a look week by week, stream a goalie in a good situation that might get 2 to 3 starts.
Forsberg's still good too, honestly.
Person's starting a lot. I mean, that's not Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, if he is available, which I doubt he would be, but his ownership is, I think, under 50. That could be a good look. Yeah.
Stuart Skinner, don't look now, but he's been phenomenal in Pittsburgh, actually. So I think I really do believe there was something about him in Edmonton and that defensive structure.
What defensive structure?
Exactly. My point. Well, my point is Evan Bouchard might be the worst defenseman I've ever seen. And I don't know if you guys saw that save Tristan Dreier made, even though it was a loss the other day. He made like the most ridiculous like whirlwind save like on a semi breakaway. So yeah, Edmonton needs to figure it out a little bit defensively.
Yeah. All right. This guy we have. Welcome on in, Benji Wiley. He's just asking. He wants to trade away Wedgwood. Would you rather trade Wedgwood and Ehlers or Wedgwood and Velarde? So basically, who would you rather have, Velarde or Ehlers, or better, who would you rather trade away? I would probably trade away Velarde. Alex Iafallo has taken his spot lately. Yeah. What about you guys?
I do the same.
Agree. Even though Ehlers is on the third line, but I think Ehlers is less reliant on his line mates to produce than Velarde is.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got a blockbuster from Florida Man Penguin fan.
Nuclear.
Tage, a nuclear blockbuster. Tage, Matthews, and Rust for McKinnon and Beniers. Wow. And he said manager needs a goalie as well. But you're not. Oh, Logan Thompson, not Tage. So Logan.
Okay.
Logan
all
Thompson.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Smash.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
We all thought it was Tage. We all thought it was Tage.
Yeah, great job. Sam King. This is going to be a long one. All right, 10-team head-to-head points with 4 keepers. Can't keep anyone drafted in the first 2 rounds. Okay, there's some points waiting. Goals are 2, assists are 1. Looks like no bangers at all. Currently has a bunch of guys: Jack Hughes, McCann, Leonard. Yes, okay. He plans to go for it this year. So is it worth it trading away Ryan Leonard and a 5th round pick for Barzal and a 10th? I traded my 2nd round pick next year to acquire Jack. Okay, so he plans to go for the win. It's a keep 4, so it sounds like the 5th round pick might be a first round pick. Oh, maybe not, because he said he's traded his 2nd round pick next year to acquire Jack. So maybe a 5th round pick is really just like the 60th ranked player. So he's trading away a 5th, and he's getting back a 10th, and he's trading Ryan Leonard for Barzal. Yeah, I would do that all day if you're going for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yep, we got through the long one. All right, hey guys, Velta Universe, hello. Hey guys, got offered Reinhardt and Jackson Lacombe for Jack Hughes and Darren Radish, standard points. What are we thinking? Evan, do you like this?
Reinhardt and Lacombe for Jack Hughes and got offered. No, yeah, nope. I would not do that.
I'll second that. I won't do it either.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Radish is a sell high. I think he might hold on to his role the rest of the way.
I think both players like Jack Hughes and Radish are going to outperform Reinhardt and Lacombe.
Yep. All right. Kraus, Kane, I'm going to assume Patrick, or Zuccarello rest of season. Shots, assists, goals, power play points, hits, and blocks. I'm going. I might go Zuccarello.
Yeah, Zucchini man.
The Zucchini man has.
Is it crazy to say Zuccarello, then Kraus, then Kane? Like,
No.
I think I might do that. I think I might put Kane last.
No, that's crazy. I think that's crazy.
Kane got power play too, though. Like,
they got to get him back on PP1.
Yeah,
like, you know, I do. I'm. It is kind of crazy because I guess Lawson Krause probably isn't going to stick on that top line once they do acquire a center like Elias Pettersson, like Brian broke. So
yeah, but Kane needs power play 1.
All right, Breadman is in a 16-team Cats league. He's making the playoffs. There's no bye. He has Vasi and Jet Greaves. Nice, you have the Vezina winner coming up in Jet Greaves. My worst forward is Landeskog. Should I drop him for Allmark or Montebo or just stand pat? Landeskog, if he's not on your IR, I would drop him because to me, like if you can't stash a player on an IR, he's taking up a roster spot. It's not worth to hold on to him more than a few games.
Yeah, especially Landeskog, unfortunately, because of his prior injury history. But I mean, I don't know that Allmark or Monty are like rush out and grabs either. Like, but to your point, I think you can drop Landeskog, which is the main question he's asking.
Yes. Yeah. And between the two, I think I'd actually grab Allmark. I think Otto is actually playing better, and they just haven't had any goaltending. So if Allmark can, snap out of his funk that he was in to start the year, I think he could actually be a really good value.
I think he'll be back soon, they're saying, too. He's been at the rink and stuff. So
yeah.
I agree. Breadman's also asking, Brian, the insider, where is New York Rangers going to trade me to as Breadman? Got any insider information there, Brian?
It's confidential. No, Breadman's going to... No, I don't have that. I don't have that.
I'm telling you guys, he's going to the Wings. Stevie Y. He's making the splash. He didn't do it for the past 2 years, and Wings fans and faithfuls have been reaming him. So,
all right, you heard it.
Yep. PD17 Hyman for Wolf, 16-team Cats League where goalies are scarce. Yeah, so it's 16-teamer. Goalies are going to be scarce, but it is a Cats League where Dustin Wolf's value really drops off a cliff in Cats Leagues versus points leagues at the moment. So I would not be looking to go for Dustin Wolf in a Cats League. I would honestly prefer to still go 0G. 16 teams, like there might be nothing on the waiver wire, but honestly, I picked up James Reimer yesterday. That was sufficient even in a Cats League. So there's those opportunities that come up even in a 16-team Cats League where no, I would not give up Hyman for Dustin Wolf.
I agree.
Zach Hyman's going to get 100 goals rest of the season, so yeah, you might not want to try
as the backboard on the power play.
Yeah.
All right, one last comment here from WebPG. Curious what you think for a 6th keeper, bangers and faceoff wins. 4 years, no cost, just keep 6. He's keeping Crosby, Barkov, Miller, Rantanen, and Schaefer. Okay, and his 6th keeper is between Bouchard, Forsberg, or Bratt. Interesting. It's a
Bouchard.
4.
Easy.
Yeah. I'm honestly looking here and I'm like, maybe 2 of these guys over
hate
Schaefer.
You hate Rantanen.
Um, yeah, you do hate Rantanen. I mean, I like that. I would banger plus face off win, so you got to keep JT. I was gonna say JT Miller can be booted, but not in a banger face off win. So yeah, I would say Bouchard, easy for me.
Yeah, the Booch
Yeah.
bomb.
Yeah, same. And I might keep Forsberger Brat over Schaefer. Lucky enough, you have 8 months to make this decision, so you got a lot more hockey to watch. But yeah, I would put Schaefer, with those other 3 guys as a decision, because 4 years of keeping, it's not necessarily a keep forever. Schaefer might turn into Makar in 4 years, but then you maybe only have 1 or 2 more years to keep him. So yeah, I don't know.
You got to keep Schaefer. Forsberg and Brad are going to be drafted in the 10th round next year. So
that's crazy.
They will
not go that late.
I'll be happy to take him there.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. What we're gonna do here? We only have 4 trade grades for you tonight. We took up a big slot in our trade base segment and addressed a lot of comments. So we're doing 4 trade grades here. Are you ready for them? Brian, you want to take us into that first one?
Yeah. All right. Our first one, we got a 14-team head-to-head points league. This was submitted by Cornucopia Express. Slight bangers. You're going to keep 2. You're giving away Patty Kane, Philip Grubauer, a 3rd, a 4th, a 7th, and you're going to be receiving Willie Stiles, Nylander, Jeremy Swayman, a 10th, a 13th, and a 14th.
All right. So Ryan's ruling is a C-. I don't think this is a good trade for you. I wouldn't do this. I think you're giving up way too much here. It's a keep 2 league. So the 3rd round pick is your 1st and the 4th round pick is your 2nd. And the 7th round pick would be your 5th, leaving you only with a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th next year. So you're really hurting yourself next year, where you're needing to win this year. And I just don't think this trade will secure that for you, especially just Willie Nylander, Jeremy Swayman. For me, giving up the 3rd, 4th, and 7th, I need a top, probably the best non-keeper, meaning in a 14 team league, that's the 29th best player. And at the moment, I don't know if that's Nylander with his injury. This was submitted, I think, before Nylander's injury, but I think giving up so much there, you can get 2 or 3 players in the top 30 range. So C- for me. Evan?
Yeah, agree with everything. I think if this was at the beginning of the year, maybe I'd consider it a little bit more, just because I thought Nylander would be, 1, healthy, and 2, producing a little bit more. But yeah, for me, like you said, you're giving up too high of picks to get Nylander, who's injured, and it might be a lingering thing too. He might be in and out of the lineup, and trading for a goalie, is what it is. Swayman's been decent, but yeah, not enough to give up for what you're giving up here.
Brian.
Yeah, no boom. I'm giving this a C-. I see it very similarly to Ryan. And the other thing you want to keep in mind here is Nylander has not been himself the whole year, missing time, and that could continue. So I don't love that. And the other thing is Grubauer has actually been really good and getting more and more starts. So I think I'd like to hold on to Grubauer, and I expect maybe Swayman in Boston to regress a little bit here. If Connor Geekie is not going to be scoring, 30 goals a night, who knows what that's going to look for their output. But yeah, I won't be doing that. I think you're giving away too much.
Yeah. All right. Trade number 2 here. We have a 10-team standard Yahoo points league, giving away Victor Hedman and receiving Adrian Kempe, submitted by Reese's Pieces. He also wants to know, would you do this trade, or would you accept it right now? I think it was offered to him, or should he shop around for a better deal? Well, Brian, what do you think?
Boom. Yeah, I'm doing this trade. I'm always a big fan of Adrian Kempe because he gives you so much. And I know that the Kings are struggling, but we talked about the Kings last week. Evan was on the phone, and Jim Hiller is going to get fired soon. So we love to see that or hear that. Speculation, of course. But we like Hedman, he might not get power play one. Like he's not the same Victor Hedman as he once was. And I think Adrian Kempe is a large part of the offense in LA. So I would love to take Adrian Kempe here.
Evan.
I can't remember. I think he did send us his defensemen in this too, and they were pretty solid. Like it's not like he needed Victor Hedman when he got back. So yeah, I would do this trade. Not as much of a boom from me. I know it's Evan's edge. No boom, Brian. It's a B plus. I think I'm still a little lukewarm on the Kings. I do like Adrian Kempe as like one of the top targets from them. I also am not so low on Victor Hedman that I would give him away for nothing. Not that Adrian Kempe is nothing. I think he could do a little bit better than Kempe, I think is my point. If he did want to shop around a little bit more, but I still would do the deal. I think Victor Hedman, when he comes back, if he is healthy, is still going to pace for like 60 points as a defenseman, even without top power play. So, and still access to, Nikita Kucherov getting a lot of minutes there. But yeah, I would do the trade and enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of both you. I like it. I'm not excited about Victor Hedman coming back because, again, I think Darren Radish is keeping that top power play spot. But Evan, good point. Those even strength goals, they come in bunches in Tampa Bay, and Hedman could still get plenty of points. But I'm doing this trade.
He'll just get the even strength assist for all of Hagel's even strength assists the whole time. So,
yeah. All right, trade number 3, Brian. You want to take us away?
Absolutely. We got a points league, high value in goals, assists, power play points. This is submitted by Rolling in the Deep. You're going to be giving away Geeky and Cutter Gauthier, and you're going to be receiving Mitch Marner.
All right. And I'm giving this an A-. I'm doing this. I've been high on Marner on Vegas, and I think he's just starting to pick things up and settle into a nice role there. He was just a point per game player for a while, but I think he truly should be a 100-point player on this Vegas team, and I think that's what you're going to get the rest of the way. So for me, Morgan Geekie and Cutter Gauthier are not close to Marner here. As much as Cutter Gauthier was a trade target of mine, I think Mitch Marner, high value in these power play points, goals and assists. Marner's gonna help you big there.
Yeah, I'm giving this a boom. I'm gonna give this one an A. I think you're getting the best player here, and you're getting off of 2 players who have cooled off a lot, whereas Marner is just taken off. To Ryan's point, so I think Anaheim, like Cutter Gauthier hadn't scored in a couple games until he got the an empty netter, and I think he might have got another goal, but still, I like the Vegas offense a lot more than Anaheim. And then Connor, and then Geeky there in Boston, like he was never going to keep up that goal pace all year, and I expect him to go through flashes of scoring and not scoring. Whereas Marner, I think you'll be able to rely on him the rest of the season to get you points. So I'm more than happy to accept that trade.
I think I might be the only one that thought Morgan Geekie was going to keep up that goal pace. No. Yeah, this is an A. This is a smash. Marner is just a different tier of player than the other two. And he's starting to put it together. To your point, Ryan, in Vegas, I really think if they had, Marner with Eichel, that he'd really pop off. But it makes sense why they don't, because him and Stone have such good chemistry.
Yeah. All right, trade number 4 here. We have an 18-teamer, very deep league. It's an ESPN Bangers Cats League submitted by Ryan. Nice name. It's not me. It's a different guy. We're giving away the Connor McDavid and Matt Zuccarello, and we're receiving Pastrnak, Heiskanen, and Gabe Landeskog. And I am giving this one, even though you have the same name as me, I'm giving you a D here. Sorry, Ryan. I just can't get behind this trade. You need much more in return to give away Connor McDavid than that. Pastrnak is, he's on the other end of the first round from Connor McDavid in drafts, and Heiskanen and Landeskog just are not doing it for me in value. I think you need like a Pastrnak, maybe a guy like Mark Scheifele, and another guy just as valuable as Mark Scheifele. Let's say maybe even like a Philip Forsberg. That's what I think you need for Connor McDavid. Pasta, Scheifele, Forsberg. Maybe that's a fair deal. So you're not getting even close to that here. So I'm giving this a D.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. Landeskog's hurt. We don't know when he's going to come back. Heiskanen's cooled off, even though he is a pretty good defenseman at value this year. But yeah, and you're giving up the Zucchini man. That's not nothing. So, we're talking about McDavid in this trade. Let's talk about Matt Zuccarello. No, yeah, it's just not enough, like you said, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm giving this a C. So I think I like it a little bit more, but I'm still not making this trade. I think to both your point, you're not giving up. You're not giving up enough to get McDavid, or other way around, I should say. And Zuccarello, like he's been good of late, but his offense is obviously paired up with Kaprizov. When Kaprizov is successful, he's successful, and Kaprizov just hasn't been as great as I would have hoped for a $17 million man. So I'm not going to be making this trade. If Kaprizov goes nuclear the rest of the season, Zuccarello rides coattails to that success, then it could be closer, but I still don't think you're going to be getting enough to be making this trade worthwhile. So C.
I think if you swapped in Scheifele for Landeskog, even Ryan, I think you could consider it if you really needed a defenseman that bad. Like Pasta and Scheifele, both two really high-end point producers, but that Landeskog as the last piece is really what's holding me up.
Yeah, I agree there. Heiskanen, Scheifele, Pasta would. I don't know. I still wouldn't do it. That's a C plus. That gets it to a C plus.
It's just hard to trade away McDavid at any time.
Yeah.
All right, we got time for a few more grades.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think so. We've been ripping through these.
Yeah. All right, trade number 5 here. We have a points league. Goals are 3, assists are 2, power play points 1, shots are 0.2, hits are 0.2, and then plus minus is 0.5. We're giving away Thomas Hertl, Dylan Guenther, and Barzal. And we are receiving Jack Hughes and Vinny Tro. And this is submitted by Rapunzel. Brian.
Right. Yeah, I'm giving this a B minus. So I'm on the fence, but I'm not going to be making the trade. I do like Jack Hughes, but I just don't love what this offense situation is in New Jersey. And then as we talked about, Vinny Trocheck could be shipped off out of the New York Ranger dressing room. So if that's the case, his value is going to kind of drop there a little bit. Why I would consider it though is I'm looking at guys like Dylan Guenther. I feel like Dylan Guenther should be better than what he is. He just doesn't get the time on ice which he should. He's their best scorer and he's playing on like a third line, I think, the last time I checked. Not loving that. Barzal in the Islanders offense is good. And then Hertl, he gets a lot of his production on that power play there. So I think you would be getting the best player in the trade in Jack Hughes, but I don't think it's enough. So for me, I'm not making that trade.
All right, Evan.
Yeah, I give it a B plus. I would make the trade as low as we are on the Devils and Jack Hughes. I just think he's again a tier above the rest of these players. I think Trocheck could be considered on the same level as Barzal and Hertl. Hertl maybe a little bit more touch offensively, obviously, but I kind of agree with Brian that I think Guenther should be doing better than what he is, and he'll have games where he does kind of take over, but it's not been as consistent as Utah as a team in general. But I think if you're getting Jack Hughes, that's enough for me to make this trade.
All right. I'm on the other end here. Ryan's ruling is a C minus. I'm not doing this trade. These are guys, Jack Hughes, where I think he's not your elite guy this year. Next year, I think he'll come back to it, but I just can't count on him to be that guy this year. And Thomas Hertl, Dylan Guenther, Matt Barzal, they're all doing exceptionally well. I see them all as 70-point-ish players. So in return here, you're getting Jack Hughes, who could just be like a point per game player. That's kind of what I'm expecting of him at this moment, with me not seeing anything different. And then Vinny Tro he's a boom or bust guy, depending where he goes. If he goes anywhere at the trade deadline, if he goes to a place like Minnesota, yeah, that's a boom. That would make this trade in the B range for me. But if he goes to a different elite team where he's more of a middle 6 power play 2 guy, his value would be tanked, and he might be 60-point pace rest of the way. So That's why I really don't like this trade. If you could make this trade after the trade deadline, see what's happening, that's what I would do. But I don't think a lot of people have that opportunity.
Just hold it in your queue and don't hit accept or decline until the trade deadline.
Ignore all the messages that are coming in. Just
elite level stuff there. I think that honestly, at the beginning of the year, this would be a smash of a trade had Jack Hughes not, smash his hand up and everything. But I think this is a hopes and prayers trade, guys. You got to hope and pray that Jack Hughes gets back to a little bit of resemblance of himself, and that Vinny Trogue is traded to Minnesota. You got to believe. You got to believe in something.
And I do like that move, Evan. It's a big brain move. It might not be the most honorable move, but I agree with it. If anyone sends you a trade offer and you don't want it at the moment, don't reject it. Just leave it there. Let it happen. If an injury happens or a trade happens, all of a sudden you go look at it, you click accept. I don't know.
All's fair in love-worn fantasy hockey, gentlemen.
Yep. All right, Brian, you want to take us into trade 6?
All right. We got a 12-team Cats league. You got goals, assists, power play points, shots on goals, hits, blocks, wins, and save percentage. This was submitted to us by Zwood. You're going to be giving away Artemi Panarin, Seth Jarvis, and Sean Dursey. You're going to be receiving Connor Bedard, Lane Hudson, and Claude Giroux.
All right. We got Ryan's ruling here. I'm giving this a B-. Yeah, for me, I am gonna do this trade, but it's right on the line of just accepting, getting Bedard, Lane Hudson, giving away Panarin, Jarvis. Yeah. Am I accepting this? I was debating C+. C+ versus B-. It's real close for me because Panarin, again, he's a player where it depends where he goes to a new team to really if he can take off offensively. Seth Jarvis, I love the guy. He might just be that point per game 35 goal scorer. But you have Bedard coming back, who has so much potential. Lane Hudson coming back, so much potential as well. So I think you're receiving some higher ceilings here, and you're giving away higher floors. And I think I just narrowly accept it.
Yeah, I think I view it very similarly. I think he said in the comment that he was punting like Jarvis's peripherals basically, which kind of like edged it out for me. I think Bedard is still the best player on here. I think he has the highest ceiling, to your point, Ryan, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's like in a tight race with Celebrini to see who can put up the most points like they've been doing. It's kind of like, McKinnon versus McDavid light, so and I like Lane Hudson too, obviously. So yeah, I would do the trade. I don't think it's like a smash, like he wins it outright, but I would do it.
All right, Brian.
I see it pretty similarly to Evan. I'm on the fence, but I would lean towards doing the trade. And just to that point, he's punting the Jarvis hits, right? So I think there's a lot higher ceiling right now in current situations with Bedard versus Panarin. I think Hudson has obviously really high ceiling, and Giroux seems to be picking it up of late. But I wonder in a 12-team league if they're just looking to, just to complete the trade, and probably would drop like a Giroux or Dursey. So I really look at a 2-for-2, and I think I'm leaning towards I'd accept that trade to get Bedard and Hudson on my team.
All right. Rounding out the last trade here, we have a 12-teamer APL points league. We are giving away John Tavares, and we're receiving Braden Point. Evan.
Yeah, I give it a B-. I would do it, but I'm also not like, it depends on the position. I think like if you're in the lead and you can throw Point on your IR, you would take it because Tampa has a better playoff schedule. I think Point compared to Tavares, especially points wise, is going to be better. We haven't heard any updates on like if he's going to resume skating or when or anything, or if he's going to go to the Olympics. That injury looked nasty, guys. Like I watched it at a lot of different angles as a Point owner, and I was not happy with that. But it's great to hear it's not season ending. But I wonder if Point's going to come back and be the same level when he does come back. I do have concerns about that.
Yeah. I think I'm up next. I gave this a B minus. I think I'm up next, right? Yeah, I'm up next. I gave this one a B minus. I'm on the fence, and I'm also leaning towards not accepting it. I think Tavares has been a little bit more consistent than Point this year, and like we kind of just talked about with Jack Hughes. Like maybe it's not his year. I think the same could go for Braden Point. Maybe it's just not his year. He relies a lot on efficiency, and he hasn't been very efficient. So for that, I think I'd be leaning towards Tavares there. And then not to mention the injury, like typically what happens is when you get one injury, it's almost like you're more prone to another injury again. So I would rather stick with the guy who's been healthier this year, and that'll be Tavares for me.
All right. Those are great things for me to hear. I think this is a B plus for the guy getting Braden Point back. I think Point's not going to rush it back. And then when he does come back, he'll be back before your fantasy playoffs. And when he comes back, like he's in an elite scenario. He's not going to be as bad as he started the season, and he was just starting to heat up. I think he'll get right back into it. So I'm giving this a B plus. Evan, Brian, just letting you know, I'm really happy to hear that you guys were on the fence of this one, because this was a trade that Fogtown made in Tier 1 with me. I'm the one who gave up Braden Point. I got John Tavares in return. Fogtown is near the tops in the standings, so he has some leeway there, so he can hold on to Braden Point on the IR. And then, yeah, like my pitch was that Braden Point is going to outperform John Tavares in the fantasy playoffs, and I do believe that's true. And for me, I need help now. I need to win out. I believe I need to go undefeated the rest of the way to make the playoffs. So yeah, that's me getting John Tavares there.
I definitely like it for you. I think it's a fairly even trade. I don't dislike it as like an unfair trade for either side. I have hopes for Braden Point because I have him in a few spots. Like I do want him to do well. I definitely have my concerns about it, but I think it's a fair trade and good for both sides based on your positioning, like you said.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, if you're not in the Discord community, get in the Discord and submit your trade grades to us. Like, rate, review, subscribe, and comment on these videos, please. That's all we got for this episode. Hopefully it brought you some fantasy value, or some real value, and helped you get a little bit better at fantasy hockey today. Many thanks to Matt Creamer for supplying the music for the podcast. Thanks for listening. Now go crush your fantasy leagues.